experience it, holding something, seeing the price drop on you, and that type of deal. So, uh, yeah, that everybody's got different levels that they've been in this for. And for me, I'm super excited because I'm like, oh my gosh, it's happening again. The same thing that happened in June, the same thing that happened in October is a little bit different because that was more centered around the BTC fork. But this is like really like what happened in June when BTC got to 2,999 and then it went backwards. And it did that from June all the way until August 1st,
Yep.
which it tied in, it correlated with the fork, with BCC. But again, I'm super excited because this is the opportunity to reinvest. It's the opportunity to catch the X's. Like, I'm not looking for 20%. I'm
Hey
looking
there.
for X's.
Today I'll show you that you
like,
can build
this
just
is how
about
you
any kind of website
make
with
money, and
Wix
you'll get
Code.
these opportunities
Wix
anywhere
Code is built
between
as a layer on top of the
1,
already
2,
awesome Wix
3
editor.
times a year.
So you get the power of
where you
code
can
paired with stunning design features to create
using the number,
professional websites.
20,000 and turn
And
it
with
into
some
60,000.
JavaScript and Wix Code APIs,
And
you can take
spend
full control of your
40,000
site.
and then take that same
Let's check out these
40,000 next year and
websites
do the
built
same
with Wix
thing.
Code. With
Whichever way
dynamic
a person wants
pages,
to do
you
it,
design
however
your
they
page
budget
just
their money,
once,
whatever.
connect it to a
But
database, and instantly get hundreds of
I
pages,
think it's
each one with
interesting
its
to
own
see,
content
when I
and
first got
URL.
into it,
We've
I didn't
even taken
understand
care
what
of
was
stuff
going
like
on.
hosting and security and
I
maintenance,
got in
so
this
you
coin
don't
early
have
in the day,
to.
like 8
You can even
o'clock in the
connect to
morning, and next
external
thing you know,
APIs on
everything's
your
going
site's back end,
backwards.
like this
And
Flight
I was like,
API.
I don't understand
This
what's
could have
going
taken
on,
ages
but I
to
know my
build, but
money is
with
locked
Wix,
up, and
you're
all I
up
can
and
do is just
running in a
watch the
couple of
market.
days. Now
If
that's a
I
game
wanted to turn
changer.
on the laptop
Check it out for
and
yourself.
stare at it.
Go to Wix.com
But
to build any kind of website
yeah,
with Wix
so
Code.
I think that everybody should realize, especially after you saw what happened today,
Hey everybody,
the market
I've
is
been working on
ready.
an overlay
I
feature
mean,
for my
not the
stream.
market,
I
but
thought
the
it was pretty
people are
neat
ready.
and wanted to share it out with
The
everyone.
market just has to equate
What I've
that
done is I've created an
with
HTML
the person's
document with
perception.
some simple divs
Meaning that,
and formatted them using
when you
CSS.
saw the bounce that happened
The
today,
key feature
people have
of this
they're
is the
waiting
use
to
of
get into
keyframe
crypto,
animations
but they're
with
just waiting to
CSS.
see how low it's
That's going
going
to allow
to
me
go
to animate the way
before
those
they do
divs
that.
are presented on
Everybody's
the screen
waiting for
to
that. That's the
create
game we're playing right
these
now.
neat little
We can play the bull
animated
traps.
pop-ins with the information
And yes, I've
that I
got
want
to
to
play
share to
bull
the
traps
viewers.
to make a salary.
So
But
you can see here in the HTML document, and forgive me for the
it's
code.
I'm telling you,
not
it's going to turn
not
around,
a
and
web developer
again,
at
it's going to be
all,
one of
so
those things
the
where
code's
people
probably
will be
terrible.
saying the same thing that
But
I said
I've created some basic divs with some
back
information, like reminding
in
people to follow
October.
me.
June,
my
I
Twitter
wasn't affected. I
information,
was new, so
a
I
little
was
bit about my
buying stuff,
schedule,
and I was like, "Oh, what the hell?" I
and I've
hold on to
created
it,
some
and I still
keyframe
profit.
animations
But
to
in
kind of animate how
October,
these are going to work.
that was a scary
And
time
added
for
them
me
in here through the
because when I
CSS.
saw these coins go down to
Another thing to note in the
levels
document
of,
is in the meta up
I
here, I
bought
put in a
RDD.
refresh tag. Right
I
now
bought
it's on 60,
one
so I can
Bitcoin worth of RDD at
test this
18
out.
satoshis. It was
So
a
it doesn't take too
signal,
long to refresh, but
and
you
RDD
can
kept
put this
going
at,
down
you
and
know,
down and
make it
down.
10 minutes,
And when it
15
got to
minutes,
9, the guy
ever
was
how
like,
long you would want to.
"Buy more," and I'm like, "No, I'm not buying more. The thing I'm like half price right now." So when RDD went back, I didn't understand the same way how people are behaving right now. I didn't understand the way crypto works, but RDD got up to 18 satoshis. I broke even. I broke even at 8, and everybody knows what happened to RDD, how the story ends. So again, it's just the holding will get you really far in this game, really, really far, and that's what a lot of people are forgetting because they're seeing the downside. And I guess with crypto, we see so much upside that the downside is sometimes forgotten. But I think what's cool is, though we are at the levels that we're at with Bitcoin, it's dropped off from 20 all the way to 79, almost. It's almost lost I mean, gosh, it lost so much. But to see the levels that these coins are holding at, and to see the market cap still above 400 billion, that's amazing. That's amazing. And what's going to be even crazier is that when the market goes up even more, we'll see even more money coming into the market. We'll see than before. We'll see more. We'll see more money coming in. We'll see higher prices. Alts will go to higher prices. This is just the cycle of crypto. I mean, when a person is new to it, it hurts. And when you experience it, you realize that nothing can keep going down forever. Nothing. Tomorrow, what we saw today I would expect if Bitcoin stabilizes around this, it's gonna go down some more. But I mean, if it stabilizes around this, we're gonna see more green days coming up with the alts popping up here and there, and another 15%, 20%. And I think it's a good thing. So, again, just read like the Cryptotx channel. That place has become like it's toxic. Like if you're trying to win a race and the coach is telling you, man, you got too many obstacles. I don't know how you're going to get to this. You're like, I need to fire you. And then your girlfriend tells you this, and it's like, how do you win when the people you surround yourself with are negating the win? And that's kind of where I've been, like, in all channels. I mean, I know I talked about BTC being bearish, but I mean, that's just how it was like seen. It was like, all right, it's going to go down some more. I don't, well, personally, I do want it to go down because I want alts to go down. I want that opportunity to get closer to the bottom. Will I get the bottom? I don't know if I'll get the bottom. I mean, I'm not concerned with that. I'm just concerned with getting closer to the start of the race so that I can finish it on good terms. That's it.
Yeah, that's fair enough. So what dips have you bought today?
Man, Elisa, I've been, I don't know what to call it. I was up early yesterday. Early, like I said, in Pacific time, you got to do 3 hours earlier than, what is it? Than Eastern time, which is New York. So California's time, you got to do 3 hours earlier. And I just haven't been, some days I can get up without an alarm clock. Yesterday, and I go to sleep early. I go to sleep, like yesterday I was in bed around 10, maybe 10:20, 10:20. So yeah, I was in bed 10:20, and I
So
was,
specific.
yeah, I remember these numbers. Like before I go to sleep, I'll look at it to kind of like gauge how much, like average this week has been around like 12, 15, 12, 20, 12, 30. Usually before I go to bed, I'll watch YouTube videos on different things, learning this past week and last week has been amazing for me for just like learning more TA stuff, learning more things based on order books, looking outside of crypto. Because if you look inside crypto, what you find is you find a lot of genius rookies. Genius rookies, which is an oxymoron. But no, you can be genius and be a rookie. Yeah, just not have the experience. But I looked outside in the Forex markets. I actually want to get into stocks. I want to get into stocks. I didn't understand stocks and how they work as far as for day trading. But I was under the assumption that like they stop the market at 10% increases or decreases. They do that on 1 minute candles. So you can still make insane, well, not insane gains. You'll do like, I mean, 10% day trading. That's pretty good for a day trader. 8%. But they're consistent and you don't have this BTC like issue. I like BTC issues. The volatility creates the paycheck. But it's just a lot more having to deal with. Going on further, how do we deal with this? I plan on this time buying these alts towards the bottom when people are kind of like, running a run from them. Like yesterday, those prices, I mean, I looked at my block folio this morning, woke up, XRP dropped down to like 8, I think, and change. And I was like, my God, like, all of this happened before this side of the world woke up. Well, not my side, they're just waking up. But they, Eastern, those people and, other countries woke up, and that was the result, the dip. They saw it. It was just too good to be true. Everybody bought it up, and to go in behind these people and buy a dip. I mean, well, this is not a dip anymore. I don't consider it. But to go ahead and buy behind that, nah, I don't want these prices. I'm not interested in it. Trying to day trade something, possibly. And there has been a lot of day trading activity going on. There's been a lot. Just follow the red candles. Those are the best friends right now. But my strategy is, like I said, to get these things as close to the bottom and hold it, and possibly hold it until I see reason to sell. Because what I'm noticing is that, like, this is going to be the opportunity for us to ride out until maybe spring. Who knows? Maybe summer. You know, the prices that those people had in October are still not touched. If you bought in October, you're covered. You got XRP at 2000 and like 20. You got XEM at 1120. You got Patoy at like 1000 sats. I mean, all of these coins, all those prices are covered. You know, and that's why I said, like, buying a dip or cost averaging your way down, it just makes that much more sense. Because if you do it right, there's no worry behind it whatsoever. But again, worry does come with, like, just learning crypto. But after so many months, years of doing it, all of us would be like, we'll be looking at the new guys coming in just like, all right, we know exactly what to do. It changes a little bit, but for the most part, it's pretty much the same. It thrives off of volatility.
Well, that's the thing. I guess I haven't been in that long, but yeah, I'm hearing it's the same. It's the same, yeah, volatility over the years. I do wonder if the extent of the news was the same previously, just given only from the perspective that it's more mainstream now. There's more people involved, and therefore the news is more interesting. Not necessarily more interesting, but more interesting to more people. So I wonder if, you know, the previous volatility, was it due to the same things, the same? It is like, you know, FUD news essentially.
Yeah,
Previously,
but
was it?
there's more now, and it feels like a concerted effort. When one domino falls, more fall, and then you get a pile on. And if the market weren't as resilient as it is now, we would be seeing a much bigger crash. So I think that's part of what Pastor was saying is, look at alts, they're holding up. They're not doing what they did back in the China FUD in the summer when everything just crashed through the floor.
Yeah, and I guess that was before my time, but they were a lot higher then, weren't they? Like now, they're nowhere near as high. They haven't reached anywhere near the heights that they had back then, from what I see.
Yeah, to an extent. On BTC charts, Ethereum hasn't reached back to where it was. Litecoin is so far away from where it was on Bitcoin charts. CureCoin, people would have no idea. CureCoin is in the like 50 cent, 60 cent range. CureCoin used to be, I watched a video on CureCoin of somebody playing the chart from 2015 to 2018. What these guys do is, well, what this guy does is he picks a coin and he puts it at a starting point and he goes through it and tells you, okay, I'm going to buy here, I'm going to sell here. It's interesting to see his method, because when you practice that, you can see how effective you can get with dealing with these coins on a day-to-day basis. And that's what he does. So, and he outplayed the market. He did that with numerous coins, and that's how he trades. He trades hundreds of coins at a time, and he does it based on moving averages. And again, he may start in the market, and when he starts at a loss, but he buys dips. Like, he'll buy at 1,500, then the next dip he'll buy it like at 1,000, and then after that it'll start going up again. And he doesn't accept like 10% or 5% increase. His first sells he goes for are 25%, and he's doing like X's with that. He has a very, very profitable strategy. I've been following this guy since last year, August, and I correspond with him time and time again. He is, I mean, at least he's got a little bit of your background, the math, an accountant. He's good with spreadsheets, and he doesn't do anything with fundamentals. He cares less of fundamentals. He doesn't know these coins, what they do. He just plays them according to the candlesticks. That's it. But going back to Micah, what he was saying just now with the news. Well, when Bitcoin, I think when Bitcoin was like, the cheaper prices, 2,000, 1,200, 13, it didn't take much news to move the coin price down because it was so cheap. And it just took some whales to just go ahead and just like, oh, let's just dump it, whatever. But now with Bitcoin being so high priced, the only thing that's going to move this coin down is an effort from the world to attack it.
Yep.
An effort from the news media to attack it. There was a book. It's a famous book called 1984, by George Orwell.
Orwell, yeah.
The same guy that wrote Animal Farm. And in that book, he speaks about a lot of the things. I think it was, George Orwell was a pseudonym, I think. It was a woman. No, I'm getting that mixed up. But George Eliot. George Eliot's another classic writer from early days, like 1800s. George Orwell wrote 1984. He talked about a lot of the things that we see now. It's scary. I'm not one of those conspiracy people. I like reality. Even though conspiracies do end up being reality sometimes. But he spoke about the media in the book, the buildings that the people work in, and just how the media is used to move and sway people. He touched on that inside this storybook. And Bitcoin is a prime example. But in order for us to get the alts, to get that opportunity to make money again, to people to reinvest their profits of what they took, they have to get those prices down for Bitcoin. Nothing's going to move Bitcoin down if the news doesn't move it. Sell-offs, as we can see, when Bitcoin was going up, sell-offs were, you'd get a sell-off, but the sell-off lasted just like, it didn't do anything. Like you couldn't break the trend. It took the news from a collective effort on all fronts to hit against it in order to break it down to what it is right now. And what's funny is the news media has nothing to do with alts. They can't attack alts as of yet. You see things on Twitter, but this is not major news, but you don't see that with alts. And it's kind of a wonder to me to see that Bitcoin's dominance is still holding around 33, 34, 32, 35% daily. And the most of the market's money's in altcoins. And it just goes to show that people are trusting in alts more so now than they were back then.
Way more.
When I say back then, I mean back in October, those times. So when you see that, as far as market confidence, I think it's through the roof. I think we're still looking at an emerging industry that is going to go it's going to surpass like so many things because the people love their alts. They have their alts and they're holding, like you got a lot of the newbies that sold or people that panicked, once upon a time, that was me, I traded Bitcoin Cash, and Bitcoin Cash during Operation Dragon Slayer went all the way up, and I missed the sell at 180 and came back, and I was like, well, I think it's going to go back up. It never went back up. Bitcoin Cash went all the way down to I think it dropped within hours because Bitcoin was going up. It dropped all the way down to I want to say 151, maybe. Anyways, the point of me telling you this is I sold 2-3 prices away from the bottom. You want to talk about big mistakes. I sold 2-3 prices from the bottom only to sit there in the screen. I walked away from the screen oh my gosh, I just lost 0.6 of a Bitcoin on Bitcoin Cash.
Oh, man.
And I walked away from the screen, walked to the bathroom, kind of thought, well, it just happened. All right, so I got something to eat, came back and looked at the screen. I was like, well, let me look and see what happened after. It went back up. It went all the way back up. It went all the way back up to my buying spot plus profit. And it just happened just like that. So again, it's lessons like that that turned me into the person I am today. And again, it might come off carnivorous to people like in especially in the TX channel when I do a thing, because I just get tired of people speaking so negative that just don't have the they don't watch the markets. They don't understand the markets. If a person has another job, or if a person's just if crypto's not what they do all the time, then that's understandable, you know. But I'm telling you, everybody, we're in good hands right now. I mean, like Bitcoin could drop down to, I'm expecting it as low as Bitcoin trades on Fibonacci levels. It can go as low as 48 to 5,000. It can go as low as that. I'm prepared. I mean, to see those numbers, I am. But how long is this going to play out? It can play out all the way to that. That I don't know. That I don't know. I'm not even going to attempt to answer a question like that because I just don't have the answer for it. But I do know what I do have the answer for. The people that don't buy these dips are going to be buying green tops, chasing candles, when the other people would be just like on vacation, like, oh, let me cash out a little bit of this. Let me cash out this. My goal this time is to do what my friend did. The girl that I told about crypto that surpassed me. I told her to get I told her to get I told her about Ethereum when it was like I think it was like Ethereum was like $90. Um but she bought Ethereum. She bought Ethereum and everything like that. She played the game smart though. She played the game really smart. She not only got Ethereum, she got other altcoins. She got into crypto really good. And what she did is every coin she bought, this is her strategy. Every coin that she bought, she held it. She held it until it reached 100, 200%, and she sold a portion of it out to cover her investment. So now Marsha has 53 coins and they are all free. She has no investment in these coins. The investment's been removed. 53 altcoins. And none of her money is in. All of them are free coins because she took her investment out.
That's kind of an argument against day trading, right?
Yeah, she's a little bit of a but the thing is with the crypto market is in the paid group that I'm in, one of them, the best one, uh these people are holders. They have regular jobs, you know, they're holders. Uh the conversation's a lot different. It's very productive. There's no noise. It's just people centered on making money 24/7. And the guy that runs the group, you can say everybody's a leader in the group because everybody is bringing stuff to the table every day. Right now, they're on this big ICO craze thing, and you know they're pooling together to get this and get that, and you know that's what they're doing. By the way, I just saw some news about the government for U.S. residents probing VPNs, VPRs. Uh, they've been doing investigations behind that stuff. I'm not sure.
Boy.
I'm not. I just know it like this: when the government does stuff, by the time you heard about it, it's pretty much too late.
Yeah, it's too late. Yeah, definitely.
Yeah, just like the
Yeah.
people that got the BitConnect case, the BitConnect situation. Those people tried to, the ones that were heavy on promoting it. One of the groups, a paid group I was in before, that guy, he opened up a paid channel for BitConnect, and he had a bunch of people he was advertising all the time, doing live streams and stuff. When BitConnect fell, I went to look for his channel. It was gone. But what's funny is that he erased it like recently after the news, and I don't think he realizes this, but when, like you were just pointing at, Micah, is when the federal government in the US goes after people, they don't collect the evidence after after the person has been busted or the crime has been committed. they get it way months in advance. That's a known rule. They do the investigation way after. Whereas with the regular state police, they bust you and then they investigate you. But the Fed people, well, I mean, they can investigate you and bust you after. But typically, they have to put the crime together. Whereas with the Feds, by the time they got you, it's like you're pretty much convicted. That's why the retention rates for that are a lot higher. But anyways, so these BitConnect people, yeah, they got them. They got them.
Bunch of scumbags, in my view.
Yeah, you know, I was gonna invest in it too. That's the funny thing about it. I was gonna invest in it too because I know people that got in it and they actually got money and got out. I'm glad I realized that you make more money just holding Bitcoin versus BitConnect. But yeah. Again, these people in the group, they bring all this stuff to the table. You know, the ICOs, and again, just I'll post that news so people can read it. I just read the headline and a little bit into it. I didn't read the full thing, so not to like try to throw any scary stuff out there. But there are more holders in the group, whereas I'm more of the trader, and it's not because I like trading. It's because I like what's most profitable, and I think that's the way we all work.
Yeah, yeah.
What I found is I came into the market when it was a bear market, and psychologically, I'm kind of just wired to just take and run, you know, because that's how I was like raised in the trading. I mean, in the crypto industry. You know, I came into it and I realized that holding stuff, you know, it kind of sucks, you know, sometimes. But when you get the bottom, when you buy at the right price, it will never suck for you.
No,
Um,
that's why I was yelling about Ethos. I got in it at 80 cents and then it hit $13 and I was like, I'm still buying. Because
yeah,
if you believe in a coin, you know that's going to be a triple digit coin eventually.
I
You just
mean,
have to have patience. You have to have a lot of patience.
Neo. I woke up this morning, like I said, I saw Neo. The bottom was 117. Neo hit 143, 144. In just a matter of like a few hours. And I said, my God, Neo did in a few hours what it took days to commit. I was just like, this is just amazing. I mean, like, why the definition goes out to buy the dip. Could I have profited off of that? Yes, I could. Did I buy the dip? No, I didn't. I was too busy watering plants and doing other shit yesterday. But yeah, I saw Neo at 126 yesterday. And I was like, so again, it's not about being perfect. It's just about getting your feet wet and getting into the game. And also remembering that if you're not comfortable or if the money is like a situation where it's strapped, just try to buy close to support. And the closer you buy to support, the less you have to put on a loss for your stop loss. So that's another tip that I learned like really heavy. Some of these things we know, but it's like sometimes when something hits you and the light bulb turns on, you're like, that makes absolute sense. I can't buy on the green candle. I can't buy in that green parabolic candle. I was looking at Cure Coin last night. Not Cure, Crown Coin. I find it interesting when Bitcoin has issues, these masternode coins, which last time it was Bitsend, BSD, and now it's Crown Coin. Crown Coin is a masternode coin, and it's actually an affordable one. It's somewhere between I think it was like a few $1,000s. At least it was when I was looking at it, taking a walk, probably about 3-4 weeks ago. Um, has it changed? I think the price has changed, but I saw it yesterday, and when I saw it, Crown Coin was at 34, and I looked at those green candles, and I said, "Wow, look at that! That is just like it's crazy." Crown Coin. I don't know why it's pumping. It's just pumping. Uh, yeah, I have no idea why it's pumping. But I just looked at those green candles and I was like, man, I feel sorry for people that are buying in those areas. It's just not a good place to be. Like, because for some reason it just pumped. It pumped 30%. You know, that's amazing to see something 30% up right now in these type of markets. But yeah, learning that support, and the more you keep, I mean, sometimes I watch videos that I might say to myself, I know this stuff, but I just watch it to reaffirm what you know, to just kind of sharpen the blade. That's
Yeah,
it.
and it's hard to act on what you know sometimes when you're caught up in the moment and you're like, man, I'm gonna get this money, and then shit turns south and kind of forget fundamental things because you're worried about that money loss that you're expecting to gain.
Well, I have learned something interesting, and usually the situation you spoke on comes when it's too late. But when a person is early to the party, you've got time to do everything. Meaning that when the market is red and it's quiet, I can tell it's quiet because the computer fan is not spinning. I don't hear the computer. It's just normal. So that's how I know when I hear those conditions, my computer can tell me when it's time to buy just based on that. When I don't hear anything, it's funny. It's just something I just noticed that when the everything is active on Bittrex, I hear it. But these past days, it's quiet. You don't even, I mean, it's not there. So, but when a person gets there and it's red and it's quiet, that's the that's the time. I mean, when everybody's running away, because that's the only way you're going to get prices where people are going to give you what you want when everybody's gone. Just like the same thing about when my friend text messaged me this morning, and when she did it, it was at the beginning of USA's day. It was at 7 o'clock a.m. And she told me, about the Litecoin situation. And I was just like, damn. By the time I woke up, what was Litecoin? It was a 126. And she saw it at 108 and 115. So it just goes to
Damn.
show again, timing is everything in crypto. Not only timing for time zones, but timing in general. Timing in general is really, really important. And the better a person gets on timing, the better off they are. And the people that don't want to deal with timing, support levels.
I've got to run for a bit. I've got a conference call for work. But I'll try to get on later. It was good talking to you guys.
And
All right,
you.
take care, man. Hey, Elisa, you're still there.
I am sorry. I don't know if you've been reading the TA channel. I'm having a debate with, well, not a debate, but just a discussion with United in there. So I've just been half listening to you and half talking to him, and probably doing neither particularly well.
Oh, nah, I just usually when I talk, I'm walking around. So I'm just kind of looking to make sure I'm not walking into walls.
Yeah, I can see you doing that.
Yeah.
Gotta get that cardio in somehow.
Tell me about it, man.
Little pacing is pretty healthy.
Yeah, well, I generally get a lot of I'm one of those people where I try to turn whatever I do into some kind of an exercise challenge. So I take the long way doing a lot of things.
Wow, United just posted a mad chart. I need to examine this.
Was anybody in here for the guy that Khan was talking about doing the T8?
Yeah, that's the guy I'm talking to in technical analysis at the moment in the channel.
Why does his name sound familiar? Is he a YouTube guy? United Bitcoin, he said?
No, United We Stand. There's a few Uniteds around though, so I don't know if it's him you would have heard of or others.
Yeah, good talk, Chris. I was listening as well.
Who's that, Gabriel?
Nah, it's Lam.
Oh yeah, Lam always is so funny. I see the names and the pictures and stuff, but I never see I never hear the voices. So I imagine everybody's voice in my head, like when I read your comments.
Yeah, Chris, you can have a look at some of United's TA that we're discussing in the TA channel. He was doing some work on scalping IOTA and does a sort of series of triangles and diamonds that he was explaining to Lam earlier, which is probably what you missed when Con was saying come in.
Okay.
If you're interested, see some of those charts.
Isn't that what they call fractals?
No. Well,
He calls it partitioning. He calls it partitioning something.
Yeah, something like that. But some people basically in the crypto world, for what I've ascertained is that a lot of people, if they see a repeating pattern, even across different points in time, then they'll call it a fractal. So if you see like a head and shoulders a month ago and you see a head and shoulders now, and it looks kind of the same, you might say, like, people will often say that's a repeating fractal. From a mathematical perspective, that is not a fractal. A fractal is a repeated pattern inside a pattern. So with Elliott waves, for example, you see the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and within the 1 there's also a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's a fractal when it repeats inside to infinity.
I think that Elliott waves, it looks nice when people chart it. It doesn't always play out as people play because it takes a lot of imagination. I kind of see with it. I've seen a lot of people's Elliott wave charts, and they just, I don't know. It's a weird. That's one TA that I'll probably an indicator thing that I'd get into later on. I'm still playing around with the itchy cloud thing, and trying to learn it on smaller time frames. It's another thing too that I've been looking into, is learning it on smaller time frames. So watching other people's videos on what they know on it. Also, the other indicator I've been kind of playing with too. When I say playing with it, I mean what I do is I go through charts and I go through the history to see how accurate these indicators work. Itchy's pretty straightforward. I mean, if you get a signal for it, it's going to provide you profits. The other one that I told you about that I was learning, which is called the pivotal reverse, pivot reversal or pivotal reverse. That one's a little bit more tricky. A lot more tricky. I think that that has to be combined. Itchy you can use by itself. I would be comfortable using it by itself. But I think the pivot reverse indicator needs to have something else with it.
Candles. Actually, after you said that, I happened to see an article on it today, which I posted in the Learning Tools channel if you want to read it, which I actually found it quite interesting. But I agree with you. I think it needs something else. But I think this article is basically saying the candles. So knowing what the candle itself means.
Yeah, and again, I'm using these indicators, using the indicator and seeing how they play out. Like, because of this whole like, what have I gotten out of this Bitcoin downtrend in terms of Bitcoin charts? I've learned to identify weaker reversals, stronger reversals. We're talking about like intraday movements. With the candles, based on candles. You know, when you see something bounce and you start seeing the candles with small volume versus like large candlesticks behind it, then it also it tells you that like if it gets to that level again, you might be looking at a break, you know, versus like a big demand in that area. But the biggest thing with these indicators and setting up these charts, from what I'm learning on a person that looks at things from the intraday perspective, is being able to look at a chart and make the quickest assessment, but logical, and also one that is going to fit you into the best position. But it needs to be a chart that I've set up charts before where they were busy. I'm looking at this, I'm looking at that, and I'm trying to make sense of so many different things versus like we all know in crypto, you can get a time to do something and that time is now. You know, you miss it by so much. A few percentages could throw you off. So that for me, even going beyond day trading, Elisa, talking about like 3 day trades, holding it for 3 days until you figure like, oh, you know, just got no more steam in it. But you bought low enough where you can afford to sell it. You know, that's what these indicators are showing me, especially that pivot reversal one, which is weird because the pivot reversal, they buy on green candles
Yeah, for sure.
versus
But
versus huh?
you're actually supposed to. It's only in this strange crypto world that people, no, well, you're still supposed to buy on a green candle even in this world. But people, the point is you don't chase the green, so you don't buy on a giant green candle that's already taken off. But you shouldn't be buying on a red candle either because it might continue to be red.
Yeah, yeah. But the thing is, what I've noticed with the green is that I've bought on. Hey, this is what's funny too. I've done breakout trades where they've been successful. I've done some where they've been not successful. Like, oh, okay, we've been waiting for this thing to close above the breakout level, and it gets to that point, but then some massive guy that you can't see in the order book, he presses a button and boop, red drops. And it's no longer in that channel anymore. I've watched that yesterday with what coin was it, man? Oh my gosh. I watched it with some coin. This is usually not my memory to not recall this because this was an important moment. And it was an important moment for the closing of the day. Uh, the day closed and there was a coin that I saw. It might have been Bitcoin I was watching. It might have been Bitcoin. Where it was positioned to close at a higher rate, and then you just saw this massive candle just come out and just finish it to keep it down, to make sure there was no hope for it. Just a plane outside. I'm trying not to get the noise inside everybody's ears.
Okay.
And no, I'm not on the moon. Okay, it sounds safe enough. But the candle closing, the way it closed, especially when you look at Bitfinex, which I've been paying attention to. I mean, you know, I don't really chart Bitcoin or play around with it, but I think it's starting to become a little bit more interesting because I try to look at Nubits yesterday to chart Bitcoin, but even Nubits is I can't look at that to deal with Bitcoin. I've got to just look at Bitcoin to deal with Bitcoin. But Nubits has been interesting. It's been interesting. But the bots have been lagging behind. They don't exactly stay up. I guess if they did do everything perfect, that people would just catch on to the pattern and basically demolish it. But let me see. Yeah, at least, I mean, bottom line with the indicators is just to make that much sense of them, and sometimes they just don't make sense, and sometimes it's just the settings. MACD settings, the original ones that they come with, they're very smooth when you look at them in correlation to charts. And how I have them set, why do I have them set the way I set? Well, I got it from another trader, and I like them because they're a little bit more sharper and they reflect crypto's movements, which it is an industry with a lot of sharp movements. And
yeah,
huh?
I had that same debate with Con the other day, actually, because we were talking about the pros and cons of RSI against CCI. And he was saying he liked CCI, and I said, well, I tried it and I didn't think it really added much to me over RSI. And he sent me through an article, and what we then established quite quickly was the standard RSI comes with 14 as its input, and I switched it a long time ago to 8, and I've used it ever since on 8. And actually, this article then said that if you use RSI, I think it didn't say 8, I think it said 9, then it's basically the same as using CCI. So yeah, I think they're all, you've got to pick the settings that work for you and work for the coin that you're looking at as well. Like sometimes I'll change them if I'm looking at a particular coin. I particularly do that with the Itchy Cloud. Like I will alter those settings because I got different ones from you. You told me some I think you got from a YouTube training video, and Con told me what he used. And I've actually kind of switched and swapped between the two depending on the coin I'm looking at, because some just fit better. So I think you can't even keep a standard one across the board, really. Maybe close. RSI 8 I do. But the other thing, what you were saying a minute ago on Elliott waves as well, like just, yeah, it is, to me, from what I've seen, I'm taking my sweet time learning it, mainly from time issues more than anything else. But I've seen it used incorrectly by so many people now that I think it is probably one of the harder ones to use. And like you said, I think you thought it was sentiment where the lines ended up, I think, yes, to a point, but then also it needs to be married up with fib lines and with moving averages and things like that. So it's not just as simple as drawing a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 on a chart and putting the 5 somewhere in the middle of space and hoping for the best.
I agree with you. One indicator that I have found, I've traded off the MACD on minute charts and 5-minute charts with good success. I don't know why people don't like the minute charts. If you have a high volume coin that's moving, especially like Bitcoin Cash, minute charts are like perfect, But of course, you could just stay in the trade and adhere to like 15, 30-minute charts, even hourly charts of Bitcoin Cash or whatever coin. But RSI, after I've learned to use it with the trend lines in the RSI itself, I think that is an indicator that I could feel comfortable trading off of alone. I don't think that I would have as much success versus using well, what I like about RSI is it shows the trends and it shows them really, really, really strong. So when you line up your RSI with trend lines on your chart and you put on whatever time frame that you want, it just opens you up to a whole new world. The trend lines confirm the history and potential of where it will go. RSI does the same too, but when you see the two match up and you see that, okay, this thing is hit and then dropped, hit and dropped, and you look at how many times it hits and you're like, well, like me personally, if something hits resistance once and it drops down and it bounces, my thoughts are it's going to go test resistance again. It'll do this for at least 2 times. And on the third time, if it doesn't break, then we could look for a break below. And I think that rule works well. Traders have rules, like the professional guys. They have rules that they work with. And the 3-time rule of something, you might lose out on getting profits. But the one thing that's for sure is that you will make a lot doing that, because I've looked at a lot of charts and you'll see them test resistance so many times and then drop back down, and that's it. Even with like the breaks of support, I watch it, how sometimes they dip below, then they come back up. And then they'll, you watch these movements. I have to watch them so many times. And it depends on the coin. That's another thing that I would say is a big deal, is looking at the coin that you're trading and just monitoring how it behaves, or how it behaved in the past. Because all these coins have different people that traded shit coins. What kind of people trade shit coins? For instance, what is that coin? It's BC something. It's there's one of these shit coins that's in a really strong uptrend, even through all this Bitcoin stuff. And I looked at the chart and I said, wow, nobody would even notice this. But if you look at the percentages page on Bittrex, you'll see it constantly every week. You see it in there, but you just have no idea why it's there. Nobody knows why it's there. It's just there, always going up and then disappearing and then coming back. Kind of like Breakout. Breakout, that coin? No, Unbreakable. Unbreakable. Again, I think that the people that created that name for that coin, Unbreakable, Rise, and we talked about this stuff before, it's I'm not surprised to see it always breaking out. It's kind of like a psychological thing. But again, RSI, and I like that indicator a lot, especially after watching the video that you guys had posted. Somebody posted it in Khan's channel. I think you said it was you. You posted it. The one on mastering RSI. That's a phenomenal video. It's so much bigger than oversold than overbought, because when you look at the trends for it, you'll start to learn that some of these coins aren't going to make it to overbought 80. They're not going to make it to the 80 level. They're not going to make it to the 30 level. They might trade within several weeks between 45 and 65. But you will only notice that if you look at the trends within the RSI. And again, that indicator it's been a best friend to me as of recent. I haven't been trading as much, but what I do is I just practice. I go in, not paper trades, but just look at the charts and look at how the history plays out with the RSI to gain confidence in the setup that you have. Otherwise, if you just get something and you put it up there and you're like, okay, this is going to work, where's the confidence behind that? There has to be history. It has to be taken like school. You learn how to do division and you're given problems. Every chart that you get is a problem, and you've got to see how the method that you have lines up with it.
Oh, for sure. And yeah, as I said a minute ago, I don't think any indicator in isolation. I've done the same actually with RSI. I'll go back and look at the history of charts and particularly look for the divergence and the hidden divergence and see if it plays out. And I find it always plays out. Hidden divergence, I found a better indicator, and divergence is also a good indicator. The problem particularly with divergence, and possibly slightly less so with hidden divergence, is that what I don't necessarily find it to a good indicator of is when it's going to play out and for how much it's going to play out. So it's like if the indicator, if the RSI has moved down to oversold, and the price has dropped lower, but the RSI has gone up, so you've got obvious bullish divergence there. Yes, it always plays out. You'll always see a green candle, but often there's another bottom before that green candle, and even when you get the green candle, you might just get one or two green candles and it goes back down again. So it's not a good long-term indicator, but it's a good pivot point indicator probably.
Yeah, I found
in isolation.
What I found with the pivot reversal, whatever the PR indicator, what I found that thing really works well with is weekly charts, day charts, but the weekly charts and the day charts are phenomenal. Smaller time frames, but the weekly one, oh my God. You would be surprised to think that how many times people sell themselves short of trends. And when you see this thing combined with the itchy cloud at the settings that Khan listed, or that came from the video that you listed, whichever one, when you see that, it's a phenomenal tool. It definitely has my confidence to wanting to put money into trades, you know, and that's what you want. You want to be able to have that confidence, you know, the indicator to help the decision that you can already see. If you look at a thing, you should be able to tell if it's I mean, I'm not talking to you, at least when I say this. I'm just speaking and rambling. You know, the sun is shining, so I guess my head is too. But uh, it's one of those things you just want to have that confidence, you know, especially in whatever type of market you're in. It's easy to have it inside of a green market, and maybe for some people it's not as easy. You know, for me, I'm more happier in a red market because I know I'm not buying a top. I know that these coins have to travel down this path again. Like Power was at 7,200. I know Power has to try to break resistance at 10K, 11K. Like, it has to go all the way up there. So buying at 72 is not going to be an issue. Like, this is a likely path for it to travel. And that goes with all coins. It goes with all coins that buying these levels are a lot more comfortable than playing a market in terms of trading, playing a market in like December, late December, early January, because those places are scary because the coins are so high, really high. But playing in a red market is, I think it's just a lot more comfortable for me. You can't get stuck with a coin in a red market. I'll give you an example of a round of mistakes. I bought SLR. I added on to my position when SLR was 17,300. And yeah, if you look at that price today, I think it's like 6,000 and change. I didn't sell. I'm still holding it. But
I'm very impressed.
It's let me tell you, Elisa, your inspiration, Marsh's inspiration, the group I'm in, their inspiration. There's certain people that I think about. I know about you and Burst, what price you got into, or around the range of it. I remember you talked about it before, and I was like, "Oh, Lisa, you're still good." I remember you talking about it, but I saw I was doing something wrong, and what I was doing wrong is, and a lot of people may have this problem, especially when you read the TX chat. You get this through the words of others. As traders, uh, we're playing the game backwards and also wrong. We're holding losers and we're selling winners. Something's wrong with that picture. I had to identify that with myself, but also see it in other people's words and realize that, like, yeah, crypto's a funny industry. This is the reason why it's so profitable. Because listen to what I just now said. That's the majority of the industry. People are selling winners, holding losers. The coins that I have, they're losers in the terms of I bought it when it was too high and I held on to it. But when I had something at a good price and it was a winning price, I sold it too soon. Interesting, but this is the life that a lot of people are facing.
So you think you should have sold SLR now then?
What I'm trying to do nowadays is lessen the noise that I take in through channels. I haven't been going through channels as much. I've been kind of getting back to real life, realizing that I do like the other things that come with life. So going out more and doing things, and I've SLR. I was told the price to sell. I was told indirectly through somebody else in another group that I'm in, and they said to sell at 18K. That was the selling point. They said before it reaches this, it's gonna reach this. And when SLR was dancing above that level or doing whatever it did, and it dropped back down, I held on to it and held on to it. Then it dropped more and it dropped more and it dropped more and it dropped more. And I was like, I didn't really mind it because, you know, I've already played it and it went up like so much percentages. It went up so much. And I did really good. I did like 100% return on SLR. The previous like 2 weeks before that, buying it back again for the next run up, it didn't work out. And I noticed volume was dropping off. But yeah, I didn't sell it, Elisa. And Zcoin I'm holding. And I'm going to tell you something. SLR, I don't watch that coin. It's one of those things where I expect it to probably rise up. I give it 5 months. I mean, something like that. 5 months. I don't regret what I did. I just look and try to learn from it. Because I think when you regret what you do, it pushes you away from learning from the situation versus accepting what you did and how can we make things different. So Zcoin I got it when it was in a strong uptrend, and Zcoin is a masternode coin. Masternode coin is a little bit tricky to me. I noticed the prices are kind of weird with them. I've been kind of studying them from Bitsend to Crown to SIB. Ion's a masternode coin, and Zcoin. So Zcoin, I've been monitoring that one. I don't know why I've been monitoring it, but it keeps a particular pattern. 66 was support. Ooh, when Zcoin has got to go back up and it's got to go against that 66, 65 resistance, it's going to need everybody's BTC because it held that support for a while. That support was phenomenal for Zcoin. It saved Zcoin through a lot of Bitcoin issues. But Zcoin broke that support. It's going to be pretty interesting seeing it trying to get back up above it. Yeah, it's going to be interesting. But yeah, that's the funny thing about these coins that I lose with. I tend to watch them. I tend to watch the losers, and that guy's video that I was telling you about, that he plays the coin from candle to candle through the history of it, I could have pretty much won all my money back from Zcoin if instead of ignoring it, when Neo robbed me in, well, I robbed myself, but this was in, I want to say maybe September, October. Yeah, I think it's September. No, it was October. Maybe November. Yeah, October it was. I just paid attention to that coin and I learned something from watching Neo. You want to make a lot of money in crypto? Don't watch everything. Pick one thing to watch. Pick something that's got high volume, a good reputation, and it's got good movement, and stick with it. And I played Neo like that for a while after it robbed me, and I won. I won my money back, and it just goes to show, like, sometimes you don't need to watch everything to have everything. You just need to watch one.
I agree, and I think a lot of the watching I've been doing, I've been learning while I've been doing it, but I guess everything I've been doing over the last 3 months I see as honing my long-term strategy for trading. So I use different coins to learn different types of TA, you know, where a fib isn't fitting on one, I'll use a fib pitchfork or something different. Where the indicators aren't fitting, then I'll try out new indicators. I've got 10 indicator sets, and you only generally see one when I post TA, but normally I flip through all 10 of them before I post anything, which is why you'll find text that covers way more. But for me, I guess I use it for a learning experience. And I always say I hold. But for me, like, I don't just think you should hold blindly. I think if you're in profit and Bitcoin starts to go down and you see that happening, then sell. problem is for me is I've always got too many, or I'm never at the computer when it seems to happen. So my then theory is if it's too late, which for me it always has been, then hold. So I wouldn't necessarily advocate it if you're there and prepared and ready to sell everything at the right time. So I don't know. I think that's maybe where you misunderstand a little bit when I say, oh yeah, just hold. I think if you can sell, and also if you're holding fewer coins, even if you do sell at a small loss, if you then remember the reason you bought it and come back in at a later date, then great. But again, for me, I'm holding too many to do that at this point. And if I then started selling them, I then forget what I had and what I didn't have and what I'd done and the reasons I was doing it. So for me, it's better just to sit like this at the moment. But it's each to their own on this strategy.
I think that one coin that I've noticed that to me has been like WTF is BAT. BAT, yeah, I know that they got stuff on YouTube browsers and all this other whatever. BAT's got a good team, but the only issue with BAT was, they don't follow through on their promises. Kind of like how Stratus was once upon a time. They don't follow through on their promises. I used to follow BAT religiously, and I wasn't an investor. I was just a trader. I was a daily trader. I'd get on BAT, and BAT was an easy, like I discussed before, within the 4,000 range, you can buy it at 48 and sell at like 52, 51. It was just, when nothing else was going on, just trade BAT. That's it. But I'm surprised that BAT has held so well out of this whole, out of everything. I expected BAT to fall apart, to be one of the weaker alts, but it's proven me wrong. I want to get back to that side that I was doing before. I keep up with a lot of coins, not by choice. My memory is just kind of weird. I guess that's the autistic side of me. But it's where I see a price and it gets printed in my mind, And then on Blockfolio, I have maybe like 30 something coins that I at once upon a time was watching for a particular reason. So, like right now, Whitecoin, Verge, Yo-Yo, BitShares, KNC, ABY, ADX, BAT, BSD, CVC, Power, Neo, Ethereum, ETC, all these coins I watched. I mean, this and so much more. I'm watching like all day, like every day. Like on TradingView, I've got all the different coin things in a corner, and I just look at prices and stuff, and it just sticks out. So, which again, go ahead.
Yeah, I think that's good, don't you? Like, it's having that familiarity. Like I've got probably 50 or 60 coins, all of which, no, but maybe not that many, 40 or 50, all of which I hold, plus maybe 10 or 15 additional ones that I just like looking at. But I pretty much know the charts like the back of my hand now because I look at them all day, every day. And I consider that a really good thing from a TA perspective.
I think that what I plan on doing with this run-up, this whole thing, this Bitcoin run-up, there's going to be some strong coins I'm going to invest in, such as like I want to catch ETC when it gets to like lower again. Catch ETC. Ethereum is going to be great. Yeah, Ethereum is going to be great. ETC, Ethereum, Neo, Quantum is... Quantum kind of reminds me of Litecoin in a sense where the price stays stable in somewhat of a channel. And then when Quantum does a move, it does a big move. But what I've noticed is that it doesn't retain the value as much. Quantum will go to these levels of 143. What is it? 43 or 143? It'll go to it'll go to those levels, and then it just drops back down into the comfortable range of the 136 or 36, 38, 37. It was kind of funny when I looked at Blockfolio and I looked at Quantum. After I saw that all these coins were bouncing off of like strong support levels, before I could even look at Quantum, I said, let me guess. XRP did this coin did that, blah, blah, blah. Quantum has probably bounced off the 28 level, because I've noticed that's really strong support for Quantum. And matter of fact, that might be the next place where it's headed when these coins get their price shaved off with Bitcoin dropping again. It might not do that. Quantum's been holding. Have you seen Quantum holding through this Bitcoin situation? Quantum's been extremely strong.
Yeah, the lowest it goes is what, around 30, just under 30.
Yeah.
And that's going up. It is on a rising wedge, but it's been on a rising wedge for a very long time now.
It's a weird coin.
So since before Christmas, the week before Christmas, and it's been on this kind of rising wedge where it goes up to 40 and back down to kind of 28 to 32, and that's going up. So I actually think it might have broken on the last one if Bitcoin hadn't done something. It didn't go back all the way down. It went up previously and it didn't go all the way down to the bottom, but it was trying again. So it was doing a double top essentially. But the double top, in fact, it's done 2 double tops in a row, but both of them have been as a result of Bitcoin hitting at just the wrong moment.
Quantum's one of those, it's a strong coin, but it's one of those coins when it goes up. And when I see it go up, though I know that destinations that Quantum is going to for, like, in terms of resistance, it's predictable with that, but I dare not chase that coin. I mean, I dare not want to chase any coin, but Quantum especially, because it goes up really fast, and Quantum has like weird, I told you how these coins have weird behaviors. Quantum to me, it's a hard coin to figure out in terms of like wanting to trade it. It has a lot of like mysterious actions that happen with it. With the order books, you get these people popping up just randomly with the big, heavy Bitcoin sells driving the price down. Even though everything lined up for Quantum to look good. I mean, I've seen this a lot of times with Quantum. That's the reason why way back when you were in it and I was in it and I was like, well, I'm getting out, and XRP took off. I couldn't deal with Quantum no more. It's just, I got tired of the thing. And it's funny because it went up after I got out.
It went up the next day, didn't it?
Yeah. Actually, no. Lisa, actually, it went up in several hours after I took it out. XRP was going up. Well, for you, it might have been the next day, but it went up several hours after I took it out. And I was just like, I didn't feel any upset. I just looked at it as just like, man, somebody said that to me too. They said, watch, as soon as you take it out, it's going to go up. Yeah, somebody has said that to me, but yeah, Quantum is it's a weird coin to me. I think it's for people that want to hold it. Quantum's a holder's coin, because in terms of trading, you can get good trades off of it. You can do trading off of it, but I think it benefits people that just hold it. I mean, I don't know. It doesn't have scary movements.
Depends when they got in, really. I mean, if you've got in at the bottom of the previous dip, then yeah, hold it. But if you got in on these dips, you're better off selling it at 40 at this point, which I'm not doing. But
yeah, I mean, I look at crypto and I tell myself, we all look at this. Everybody's under the assumption, or somewhere in the back of a person's mind. This is why I tell you where words are a sensitive area. We deal with numbers all day, but words are a sensitive area. And it's very good to surround yourself with people that are like-minded and are bringing strength to the table. And I say that because everybody in their head, I believe, has crypto, whether they recognize it or not, as a bubble. Everybody thinks that it's going to, like, they don't think, they have that question. Not everybody. I can't say everybody. I could say a good majority of people have that question in their head. Is this going to stop one day? Is this going to stop? And I used to ask that question until I looked at old charts of Bittrex, not old charts, but old days of Bittrex, when you turn on Bittrex and top volume coins are coins that never see top volume now. Feather coin, crypto, when you start thinking long-term for crypto, it will change the way that you behave in the industry, and your moves won't be as rash. And I think overall you'll make better decisions. I'll give you an example. If you know that Neo is going to be $200 and you believe that Neo's going to, well, I can't say no, but you believe that Neo will reach $200. Seeing Neo at $94 or $100 is no problem to buy. And depending on like what type of person you are, you know, like you could have bought Neo and said, "Hey, I can get a good trade out of this," and then buy lower. So it positions you to get in, to make wiser choices versus the person that thinks of it as short term. You spend more of a psychology mindset of being scared to do a lot of things. And I speak that not from reading it, I speak it from experience of myself. When I thought of it as short term, I wasn't making as much moves in crypto. But when you think of it as long term, like, do I want my life to change from the way it is? I want it to change in terms of work wise. I like the fact that I have, you know, most of the day to myself, except for the time when I have to sleep. But I like that. So with that being said, I'm looking at crypto for long term. I'm looking at it for long term, and my decisions are going to reflect that.
For long term as a job, or for long term as in to eventually give up work?
This is what I do. At least I don't do anything else.
No, I know. But when you say you look at it for long term, are you trying to make such a large income now that you can retire and do nothing, or are you actually expecting to be doing this full time forever?
I think I'll always trade crypto, whether I'm in a wheelchair, on the porch, in a rocking chair, uh, whether I'm in a hospital bed. I think I'll always. It's just something I like. It reflects my personality, and it's not from a gambler's point. It's strategic. It's a puzzle, and the more the more you govern yourself with standards, the easier it gets in solving the puzzle, or the less you're able to blame yourself for not solving the puzzle. Can't blame anybody else, but at the same time, you have your standards. And if they don't work, it doesn't work out a certain time, then it just doesn't work out. But yeah, Elisa, it's one of those things where long term, in the sense of like, crypto will go on for it's going to go on. I mean, will it go on forever? That's a question that remains to be solved. But I think in the market that we're in, the way it has grown, the attraction to it, the technology, the way these things are doing, you know, innovative things, it'd be hard to see something like that go away. But I definitely think that the crypto market is going to be around. A lot of people say a lot of these shit coins won't be around. Well, I think they will be around. They'll just be lower volume. That's the only thing that I see. I haven't seen any coin like not, I mean, just disappear. They get delisted, but they're somewhere else. So again, for me, it's long term. It doesn't matter if I'm at a status to retire. I kind of just see myself as that. I've never gotten burnt out. I do crypto like every day, all day. Like these past 5 months, I would say, I moved to California. I moved to California in, I want to say it's been like almost 6 months. And I've yet to really get out and explore everything because I've been so busy at the computer and just doing other things like here and there. Like I got a friend, she came in from out of town, and she should have never told me she's going to be here for a month. I'm probably going to wait till the last weekend to see her. And I'm completely cool with that.
Okay, that's good.
Coins I'm going to be watching will be Power. I like Power's movements. I don't like that 86 sell, which I know it still exists. It's just somewhere in the back. I like Power. I've been watching that. That's been a strong coin for me to monitor. I like the movements in it. It gives a lot of traction through its daily travels. It's not like a GNT Gollum. Gollum would give you 300 Satoshis. Not much going on. CVC fell off the boat. I mean, like really off the boat. I feel sorry for people for resistance at 59 all the way up to the 62 level. They're going to have one hell of a time. Same thing for storage. Storage. Same thing for storage. That support line that they created, whew, man. In the 12s and the 13s and the 14s, that is, whew, that's going to be a mess. Surprisingly, Neo, the support that it created for the days it was going sideways, today it just wanted to just burst through it like there was nothing there to stop it. I found that to be funny. Yeah, I found that to be funny. Also, what I found to be funny is this, Elisa. These coins jumped up they bounced pretty hard on a bearish day. And I bet, we always talk about whales. I bet it probably caught a lot of whales off duty from that situation. Because a lot of them are trying to drive these prices down for these coins. And they're putting up these things and they disappear and they come and they go or whatever. I think the funny ones are the ones that they put their coins to scare you, but they don't want them to sell, but they put them up to scare. And I would love to be that guy in the future that when they do that, I just buy it off. Just take it out the way. So the price could just flow. But I don't know who these people are. They might put up 5, the next thing come back with 30.
I'm just looking at the T0 ICO, which I tried to get registered for, but I had to fill in a form for early investment, like pre-sale. And it's quite a slightly confusing form because it's fairly obvious that they want you to be extremely well off to be part of their elite list. But they aren't actually 100% explicit about it. But it says on the first page, you have to tick a box certifying that you have net assets of 2.5 million or a gross annual income for each of the last 2 years of 250K, or the amount payable for the securities to be made is going to be 500,000 Australian dollars. So they're looking for pretty serious investors on this. So I'm guessing I'm probably not part of that category. So might have to wait for the ICO on this one.
Shh! Don't tell them that the money's in crypto. That's all. Nah. Yeah, the ICO thing, man. Gosh, there's so much money to be made in there. Just have not gotten to that. Haven't gotten to that. I got some friends outside of the US, and whenever I'm interested in the ICO, pretty much they'll get in for whatever I want. If I see something that's good, they'll get in. And I could just give them like some money and they'll go ahead and do like the ICO thing for it. But I haven't gotten a chance to like research ICOs. People are doing really good. People are doing really good. To do 1x off an ICO was it's becoming like pretty standard. But then also, the guy in one of the groups, he points out all the time with these ICOs, the scams involved. I've got what you call it. I need to screenshot it where I show you how he's found out like the different ways of like these things are like scams, and it's pretty sad. It's pretty sad because again, it's an industry where nothing can really be done. I mean, like you lose your money, you lose your money. You know, one of my friends lost his money with BitConnect. Well, a lot of people lost their money with BitConnect, but
I think that's the risk you've got to know you're taking if you buy any cryptocurrency, be it an ICO or established one. But you know, there's this sort of perception with crypto that you're always going to make money in the long run or whatever, and people forget that, you know, some coins do die, some coins do stay at 1 sat and remain at 1 sat or lower in the case of Pack coin. If you look at the doggy charts. So I think people have got to remember that. And then particularly with ICOs, they're even more risky because you haven't even got that investment backing already. And yeah, it's very easy to scam. We were chatting about that earlier, actually, about the benefits of having regulation, particularly in that area.
Yeah, the ICO thing would be cool to be regulated. That would be cool to be regulated. I don't know. I know how these people are. You bring in one regulation, they bring in all regulation for everything. Like, oh, we got this, let's get that. Man, yeah, this regulation thing.
That's why we were discussing to some extent the pros and cons, and I guess neither of us who were talking were really fully across the implications. I think there's really positive things, certainly, but also some very negative or risks associated with it.
What's interesting to me with crypto is that crypto is an industry where anybody of any background can get into it. You can trade with. I mean, I've had people ask me, I don't have any money. Can I really get in this? I'm like, yeah. If you want to trade $100, you want to trade, like just whatever, it doesn't matter. And I actually, the day of regulations for it is, because it just goes against everything crypto stands for. Kind of reminds me of a second job I'm working on. I'm trying to do this is like I told you with the growing weed, and I've got to go through genetics right now, which is what I'm doing. But I don't count it as a job because it doesn't feel like a job. But that industry in itself had no regulations in California. It was really like one of the biggest loopholes. A person can grow, distribute, sell, bring it to the stores, sell it at the stores. Everything was all through a doctor's notice. How hard was it to get the doctor's notice? Just pay the money. Tell him you had a headache. He'll give it to you. It's that easy. And again, you could sell it. That was it. Now that the big celebration of all the pot coins that went up, pot coin, THC, all that stuff. Oh, they're having big thing in the U.S. in January the 1st. You could expect all the weed coins to go up. Yeah, they went up, but the pot industry, it went down. That's the bad thing about regulations. That's the reason why, coming from the background that I come from, I don't like regulations because I've seen what they do to industries. They choke them out for the small guy, and they make it where the big guys ride on top. And they cut into profits. They do it like astronomically. Out here now, you need a permit to drive it to a location to be sold at a dispensary. You have to have all these different like permits that come from the state. Basically, they just figured out how to divvy up the money that one person was making before and how to make it where it spreads out to several people. In Colorado is worse. It's a lot worse over there with the regulation thing because they've got it where they got RFI, RED, with those chips where the plant is tracked from the point of seed to sale. It's tracked, so it's pretty terrible over there. But again, I'm just so against whatever country, whatever place benefits me in the long run for the purpose of crypto, as where I stand right now, I'm probably headed there. Right now, the U.S., everything is still gray. It's becoming clear, but it's still kind of gray. But maybe by like a year's time, it'll become really like standard, and I don't want to be a part of that.
Yeah, I think it's a big, much longer, much more political debate. I think there's, I mean, regulation. There is. I understand that, people want to be living off the grid as such, and they don't want to be tracked, and people want privacy and anonymity, but then that, if you have that, then it comes at a price. And then the flip side is, if the government does regulate, so you are safer, more secure in what you're doing, and I'm not just talking crypto, and just in general everyday life, really. We put regulations in place to help those less fortunate, to all these sorts of things. And I also believe in both sides of that, and for me, I find it tough. I don't know. I'm less concerned probably than other people about the anonymity thing. When people get concerned that, they're like back when I was in the UK, they were talking about taking CCTV footage and being able to do facial recognition and check against your ID and all these sorts of things. And people were going into this massive panic and how dare they, and carrying ID cards and those things. I don't know. That it doesn't concern me too much, I guess, because I'm not doing anything that I need to be concerned about particularly. So I understand other people might have different reasons, but that's my theory on that. But I don't know. Yeah, and it's a bigger political debate, and it is a two-sided debate.
It's just, I don't have a problem in regulation when regulations work for the greater of the people, but paying an agency to do something that I can do, meaning I'm going to weigh out the risk with an ICO. Can I tell if the ICO is 100% legit? No. But should you be investing money that you, really need? No. So, there's certain rules. Just talking about this industry as it is, there's certain rules that govern a person where I just don't see the reason for the extra security. I don't see the reason for having these monitoring agencies because they don't do nothing. I don't believe they do much. There's not anything to really do. They usually just, when somebody does something wrong, they're persecuted under their laws. And by that time it's too late.
And I think that's a difficulty, but I don't think that's a debate against regulation.
Yeah.
It's a debate about, it was like the gay marriage debate here, right? I don't know if you have the same thing in America or elsewhere in the rest of the world, if anybody else is listening, but we had gay marriage just passed recently. And it was a huge debate, and there was obviously all sorts of hate and everything over every forum you could possibly think of. But the only arguments against gay marriage were against the potential knock-on effects, such as, people going to the extremes of paedophilia, and people saying, well, how will, and then going particularly into gender, and like gender. I forget the technical term, but the multitude of genders now that people identify with. And then people saying, well, how will you police who goes in what bathroom? What if your daughter's in a bathroom and she's a child and a man comes in there because they identify as a different gender, et cetera, et cetera. But all this stuff to me is just extrapolated. Yes, it may or may not be valid as a future problem, but it is not a reason to say no to gay marriage. You can say yes to gay marriage and deal with those things as and when they arise down the track. And I think that's the same to me with regulation. You can recognize there is a need for a regulation. And yes, I concede there are a hell of a lot of problems with central agencies and corruption and all those sorts of things. But to me, it's a separate debate and a separate argument. And it could be dealt with an awful lot better.
Yeah, I agree. And again, there's going to be no perfect way to actually do it because one side benefits another one, then another side benefits this. So these people are arguing, these people are happy. Then you make the other people happy, the other people are arguing. So yeah, it's just one of those things. And then to leave it unregulated, to add to the argument, to leave it unregulated, and you got these people that maybe are less fortunate in the way that they think, lose money. I mean, it's kind of like me when I got into crypto. Hey, let me get in this thing. Hey, the price is dropping. I got to hurry and sell. The price is dropping. It's in the dip. I'm selling. And yeah, maybe if there, but that's silly stuff I'm talking. No, but I see the point you're making, Lisa. It makes sense. It's just over here in America, it's been more. America has really opened up, and I think the way that things have opened up is through the media. I remember specific points in the media where, in terms of on terms of the gay marriages and the whole gay scene in America, how it opened up was, I remember seeing an M&M commercial, and out of all things, it was M&M's. M&M's had commercials where they went on a big marketing campaign, and they had it would show like a guy and a girl, Then I remember there was a commercial where there was two guy M&Ms. And I was like, at the time I was telling my friends, like, hey, did y'all see that commercial? And they kind of put it in through the media. It worked its way through TV shows. It worked its way through acceptance of that first. That's what I've noticed. Way back, maybe 10 years ago, I started seeing things just kind of snuck in there. And then I started to see where gays were no longer attacked in multitudes. They're still attacked, but now you can be persecuted for that. It's considered a hate crime. Yeah, so I've seen different ways how it's worked out. And again, gay people are human, just like humans are humans. I mean, whatever label they choose to put on themselves is whatever, but everybody's human. So does somebody deserve lesser rights than another person? Nah, it doesn't work that way. Does it make a person a lesser man because he likes barbecue chicken or teriyaki? Nah, I mean, hey, preference is preference. I think that's what makes us unique.
Oh yeah, for sure. I mean, it's all personal choice. You can't be disputing either. In my opinion, you can't dispute anyone's personal choice. There are unfortunately many others that disagree with me. But this is, I mean, what you just said about media, I find interesting. I think, yes, the media is great for raising awareness of these issues. But unfortunately, again, at least in Australia, the media is shocking for taking the most extreme viewpoint and escalating it. And yeah, and politics over here is much the same. Like the people are the minority, but with the loudest voices are pandered to. And I've got a real problem with that. But we're getting a little off the crypto subject here.
A little bit off the crypto, but actually on the crypto regulations.
True. Loosely.
Yeah. I mean, I haven't even turned my laptop. I haven't turned the laptop on as yet. Again, I think these past 2 weeks have helped with me. I used to feel like I didn't want to miss out on, and we're not talking about on a green candle. I'm talking about on a day's potential in crypto. You're not going to trade every day, but every day you may see an opportunity that might position you for another day. But then I learned that with crypto, it really doesn't matter. Something is always going up. It's always going down. This is the industry we're in, it doesn't matter. You just make sure you position yourself where you can cover what you need, your needs in life, and that's how I do it. But I can imagine for somebody, and this is what I want to do. I want to do an alternate living salary, and I'm going to do that through, again, the marijuana industry out here, where that would cover basically living expenses, and crypto it'd be just like, it'd just be something different. be something different.
Would be
I got a
just
friend. Huh?
comment. We are live here.
Yeah, I got a friend that he used to be an engineer. He left his job to do crypto. Of course, he got Bitcoin when it was $200, but also sold his holdings at 4,500 because he said there was no way in the world Bitcoin was going to pass 5,000. So again, Elisa, like the experiences, we talked about experiences earlier in crypto. And when you learn from other people's mistakes and you learn from the industry itself, I guess when you hear the term in the long run, Bitcoin is bullish, it's exactly as it is. Because my friend, I mean, he told me about crypto, Bitcoin way back in 2013, and I didn't pay him much attention. You know, he was cool. He was a client, but I didn't pay him much attention at the time. And he left his job. He's making six figures. Modest about it. But how many times a year does he trade, Elisa? He might trade somewhere. I think in the past 2018, he made somewhere between 3 to 5 trades the whole year. 3 to 5 trades the whole year. And covered way more than what he would have made at his job. That's the level, I think that's the level where, for me, I would love to be at. I don't mind being in front of the computer and trading crypto and doing stuff like that. But he does trades where the chances of him winning are at its highest. He's going to pick the market that he wants to be in. A lot of us don't do that. A lot of us jump in. We force our way into the market, not knowing that the door has closed on our body and the train is taking off and the wall is up ahead. We're about to get cut off. So that's the level of aspiration. I just talked to him yesterday, and he told me that. So I think I'm going to go ahead and buy alts 2 months from now. And even though he's been in crypto longer, we both have different views. And time to time we talk and we share. And I gave him my opinion about it, which was, if you're looking to buy alts 2 months from now, you're probably going to be buying really green material. 2 months from now walks us into tax time in America and the ending of tax season. And I'm expecting, based on that economic model with taxes coming back into people, that there's going to be a lot of movement into crypto from taxes, tax money going into crypto, free money, as people call it. I'm expecting that to happen. And the fact that...
Wouldn't that have happened already in the US?
Well, actually, it ends. The last day to file taxes is like in April. And sometimes they extend the deadline into like early May. Which reminds me... Huh?
Isn't December your official end date?
No. It's in April. I'm officially, what year was that? 2015. I'm officially 3 years behind on filing for taxes. Yeah, I've got some issues.
Impressive. I don't know why was everybody saying, if it's April, then that's the same as the UK and Australia's June. But back at the end of December, everybody was saying, oh, everything's going to be sold because it's tax time. So I'm confused now. Or do they mean, is it company tax?
No. Generally, when you see economies picking up around here, January is known as a dead season. What's going on with crypto? Was I surprised about January? Not at all. I mean, not based on the living model that I see day to day in the industries of, well, I'm not going to say in every industry, but a lot of industries. This is a dead time. So the entertainment industry, as far as music, a lot of entertainers like to get their stuff out in December. Everybody's cramming in to get their concerts out, to get their this. by December, albums and everything. And then by January, it becomes a dead season where there's not as much movement, and it starts to pick up like towards like February. I mean, January is just known as it's a dead season. People are trying to figure out how to get customers into stores. Crypto's doing the same thing right now as we speak. How do we get these people to buy these coins? I see these pump channels, Crypto Coach, and all these other ones giving people reality checks about the markets. Seen somebody say they started a topic and said, "You're probably wondering why you got into crypto." That was a very valid statement. Sometimes these pump channels have, sometimes they have good information. I mean, I learned a lot from just looking at some of this stuff. A lot of times it's garbage, but sometimes it's just, hey, that was nicely put. But yes, it's typically a dead time. So again, I'm not really thinking about it. I mean, March, April, yeah. But Bitcoin in the past has taken a while to come up from a bear season. I mean, it's taken a while. When you look at the historical charts and you look at things, and that stuff can't be ruled out, anything can happen. But I'll tell you one thing, and the reason why I'm strongly believing this is that Bitcoin going below 44, 45, 46, 47, 48 level, I think it's highly unlikely, because that's when a lot of the institutional money came in. Unless the majority of institutional people are willing to deal with that, then yeah, let's keep moving the price down. But that's a lot of the old school people. When the flip didn't happen, the old school people from let's say like 4,000 below, like 3,000, 4,000 below. The old school holders, the people that look at this stuff and they're just like, yeah, whatever. Yeah, I'm not gonna sell. I see people in the TX chat. Let's talk about something funny real quick, Lisa. I see people in the TX chat that they brag about selling out at prices and everything. But if a person is that good of a trader, then you should be able to make money in a bear market. Khan put it best. And I don't like to comment in that channel as much anymore, but I do remember things that people say. A guy said, this is going to be a horrible weekend. I can feel something. It's going to be terrible and blah, blah, blah. I wonder that person today, when they woke up and they saw what happened, how did they feel? Saying that they sold out, they cashed out at so-called 17 and 14 or 13,000 levels, USD, they cashed out. I wonder how do they feel about that? Like when you see that the market still continues, it's going to continue. It's not a straight drop to the floor. It's going to slowly do what it does. And there's going to be many opportunities for traders along the way, for even holders. If you want to get something and hold it because of the news, it's just the times, Elisa, when Bitcoin doesn't, when it makes the new moves. Yesterday was a new move. It had the industry shaken up. The new move was we're seeing Bitcoin at lower levels that we haven't seen before. So we saw Bitcoin at like 8,000. Everybody's like, oh, it held. So Bitcoin breaks 8,000. We'll see another chunk disappear of money, leave the alt market, and we'll continue to see that. But right now, it's going to stabilize, and these are the new prices we're looking at. Surprisingly, again, like we've talked about, a lot of these alts are holding. I mean, and they're holding like pretty damn good.
No,
But there's always
I agree with that one, but some alts are holding. But I think the declines are, I don't know, I could do some analysis. I suspect, let's say, because I haven't done the analysis, I suspect the declines are proportionate to previous movement. Not sure. Sorry, I'm a bit tired now. Not sure how to explain that adequately.
Okay,
yeah,
okay, Lisa. Well, you know, like I know it's what, Saturday for you. Get your sleep and everything. Get your sleep. I'm gonna go and water some plants and arrange things around and this and that and figure out what I want to eat for breakfast. Well, I know what I want to eat for breakfast, but do some dishes, watch some more YouTube videos.
I know that's always a bit of a mission for you, figuring out what you're going to eat.
I love food. I mean, I don't know what to say.
You love food. I know it's your thing. I'm quite surprised you ever get time for cryptocurrency.
Yeah, well, actually, I think food is saying the other thing. There's times that I go by, like yesterday, what did I eat? I had some salmon, I had rice, I had rice and beans, I had rice and beans again. I'm giving it to you as I ate it. I had a slice of bread with peanut butter. I had a slice of bread with butter. I had a slice of bread with butter and honey. I've been on that fix ever since we talked about it, Elisa.
Do you ever stop eating or something? I don't know.
Nah, I eat. I ate cereal. I ate. But that was a low day. That was a day that I didn't eat much. I mean, I didn't eat much.
You listed about 10 things, and now you're saying you didn't eat much.
Yes.
Oh my God.
I entered 10 seconds ago, and you already say 5. I don't know how long this has gone.
Elisa, I mean, Gabe, look, like, seriously, my day used to start off with 5 eggs, whole eggs. I ate 5 whole eggs. They were always, they're always scrambled, coconut oil in a pot, eggs in it. After that, I'd have like a protein shake, typically with almond butter inside of it. And then I had jars of almond butter I used to carry around. So I might be in traffic, might be like, oh, okay, and just reach and start eating. It's almond butter with coconut, really good. And then I would eat stuff like rice and chicken and beans and I mean, I would seriously eat like, I wish I can count the calories, but I'm pretty sure it was somewhere around like 7, 8. And I'm not eating for weight purposes. I'm eating because I just like food. Like I can tell you what's on my list today. Oatmeal, cookies, and raisins. But I've been having a problem with these cookies. Why? Because I always eat the whole bag within 25 hours. That's the average time. Not 24 or 25.
Yeah, I'm the same, but I do think it is phenomenally unfair that men like you exist. When men typically, traditionally, don't really care that much about their weight. And yet you can eat like 17,000 calories a day and no doubt remain the same weight. Whereas if I eat more than, I don't know, 1,000 calories a day, I'm 3 kilos heavier by the next day. It's most irritating.
Yeah, I mean, it's crazy for women. Yeah, it is. Even for some guys. But it's, I don't know, man.
Yeah, it's difficult for some guys too. I concede it's not all guys just keep the weight off, but it matters a lot less for a man. Or equally annoyingly.
No, I simply cannot get fat. I've been the same weight exactly since I was 18. And it's been 7 years already.
Very, very unfair.
It's crazy the way it is. But let me see, lifestyle, and it's also emotional. Any person's emotional mind state. Like Elisa, I'm the same person from ever since I don't know. I'm the same from when I get up in the morning till it's time to go to sleep. I'm pretty much just even tempered. You know, I think crypto has made
people are yelling at you.
I think crypto has made me a stronger person. Well, it's actually added on because losing money in crypto, doing stuff that I used to do before, like going all in and doing that. I mean, it's taught me a lot about myself, but it's just, I don't know, it's different. But then I also have a past where, let me tell you the scare yesterday. So I was trying to log into Bittrex, and the way my Bittrex works is I have to go through my email in order to access Bittrex. I go to Bittrex, I put in my password, username, password, email, and then it goes to two-factor authentication. I put in two-factor authentication. Then it says your IP address, blah, 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 blah. I got to go to email. They've been doing that since last year, probably August. August last year. I think it's been doing that. And they changed it on me. I don't know why. They just changed it. And then what happened yesterday, after it said IP address, I went to my email and I looked and I'm like, where is Bittrex email? And I didn't see it. And I was like, first thing I'm thinking, I'm like, oh, okay, let me just wait. And I tried it again, password, email, two-factor authentication, looked, nothing. Waited. Then I said, I asked you, I went straight. When I get a problem, I usually go to people that like surrounding communities. I asked you in the chat, and I went into the other group that I'm in, and I asked those people. Those people are kind of like whiz kids with computers and engineers and stuff. So they've helped me through like some issues before. I've asked them. But yesterday, trying to get somebody to help out with Bitcoin doing what it did and everybody panicking. Surprisingly, I got an answer from you. They answered me too. It was later on. But what happened was, and Elisa, trust me, when you try to give me instructions for taskbar and stuff, I'm not computer literate whatsoever.
I'm aware.
Yeah, I'm not. I mean, Gabe, I'm like one of those people where computers were around my day. I mean, they're there, but I just, when it came to computers, I just don't. I don't know. It's just not something that I was playing with. I was always outside. I was never inside. I was always outside doing things. You live in New York City. I was outside the majority of my day. I came home from school and I would just stay outside all day until it was time to go to sleep. So there was no time for computers or playing around with that stuff. Internet was a place for research for school. That was it. I knew how to surf, to find stuff on the internet. But so I told myself, okay, don't get freaked out, don't get scared, whatever. Because I had an issue like this before, but it was kind of different. And then I still wasn't getting no email. I said, man, this is different. So I called up one of my friends, and she's into computer IT work, security type stuff. And she kind of walked me through some steps and to do this, do that, do that. And then she said, I said, well, why don't you try it? Why don't you try logging in from a different computer and getting that email? And she tried it. And she said, well, I think it might be Bittrex because there's no email coming through for me either. And I said, I wonder why other people haven't complained about this problem. I went to Twitter, to Richie, the guy that's from Bittrex. I went to Richie. He handles like notifications for Bittrex. I looked and I was like, he didn't say anything about this problem. And then I tried sending emails to my email from other emails. I tried using the same one from the same place, and they went through. And then I was like, okay, well, I guess I just gotta wait. I don't want to raise a support ticket because when you raise that support ticket, they disable your account. So heads up for people in the future, be aware of that. But everything worked out. Bittrex just had some issues going on in their part, and after that situation, I'm seriously considering leaving Bittrex because to have a scare like that for me is really major. And I don't like the fact that Bittrex doesn't get to their people and problems. It takes them a long time to get to them. So I think that Binance is a little bit more customer friendly. They handle their issues. For instance, registration. They opened up the doors a long time ago. Bittrex still has yet to do it. I don't know if Bittrex is a good place to be because of like stuff like that, or it's probably a place to just limit your holdings on. Bittrex itself is an altcoin, T exchange, so limit your investment that stands on there. That's what I'm kind of gathering with Bittrex right now. I don't like that feeling that I had yesterday. So I think Binance, and I like Binance because Binance doesn't have all the ID stuff. You can still get away with like 2 Bitcoins worth of trade activity or moving activity on there. So that's pretty good. Plus Binance coins pump harder, which you've pointed out in the past plenty of times, Elisa. So I think that that's going to be a place of focus. But
now?
I got into the trig call from the group that I had, trig, and there was another one. Oh, that ICX chart.
Oh yeah.
I shared that. You didn't even get your respect for posting it. You posted it, right?
No, I don't think so. Maybe.
Somebody, you probably did. It was like on Saturday. You posted an ICX chart, and it showed that it had this pattern of every 21 days it pumped, and then it had news coming out or whatever. And somebody posted it in our channel, and I saw it, and I took it and I shared it with other people. These people have all been hitting me up through messages like, "Oh, I'm so happy that you shared this with me. I make so much money." I was like, I didn't even notice. But at the buy point, it was 71.06 when that chart was posted. It was a very intricate chart with details about why this coin is going to, like, put it this way, when I saw it, it's a no-brainer to invest. But I was doing other things at the time, so no money went that way for ICX. But that coin pumped. It pumped pretty good. When I say pumped, I mean, it didn't do X's, but it did good in the market that we're in. And not to mention, a lot of pump groups got behind it. I found that funny. So the 7,100 entry, pump groups were coming behind talking about buy 85, sell 93. Then other ones were coming behind, buy 9,000, sell 98, 99, 100. Like, I just thought that was so funny. It just shows you how the industry works.
Yeah, it's a big chain of gossip. It's like Chinese whispers, this industry, I think. And quite often, like I said, the Chinese whisper gets distorted, just like in the primary school game.
So true. So true.
Hey, Chris, anyway, I'm going to have to go to bed. I'm knackered. So it's good talking to you. And hopefully, if you're still here in 8 hours, I'll be back.
Yeah, I'll probably be up. What is it? 8 hours. That puts me at 8 o'clock. Yeah.
You'll still be awake?
Yeah, I'll be awake.
Okay. Have a good night, and I'll talk to you later. And if Gabe, you're still there, good night to you too.
All right. Good night to you too.
Good night. Nice dreams.
Gabe, I gotta get breakfast and do a little bit of stuff. I'll be back in a moment. Okay.
Okay.
All right. Cool.
Hey, what's up, kids?
Ray, you in on this?
Yeah, I'm here.
It's pumping pretty good.
Yeah, is it pumping on Binance? Is that what it is? Or I mean, because
Yes, it's the
KuCoin,
$22.
KuCoin's still at 19.5. Yeah, I don't have anything left to put in on KuCoin though. I'm already in, as far as I can get. I'm just gonna watch and wait and see where it goes. I imagine it'll probably when it cools down on Binance, it'll be done on KuCoin. I don't have anything on Binance to put in there either. So
Yeah, I set up a little arbitrage thing, but their 30-minute transaction turned into 4 hours, and I still don't have it on Binance.
yeah, it's not really moving on KuCoin yet, but it will when it, when the price is higher on Binance, it'll go up here on KuCoin. I did great last night with some lowball orders. Nano was one. I also got a lowball order on THC for 17.
Nice.
It's up to
You caught a
almost
fat
21
finger
now. What's that?
You caught a fat finger.
Caught a fat finger? No, I mean it just dipped down that low. There was, Bitcoin bounced low, and I guess people who were holding alt, some of them just crumbled, I guess, and sold THC all the way down to, looks like, about 1563. So my order went through at 17, which is still pretty good because it's up at almost 21 now. So that one on Trex. I have an investment from a couple of days ago in Monero, which Monero, I thought it would pump. It's like a 10-to-1 fork or airdrop or whatever it is coming up, but it's just too far off. I imagine Monero will stay fairly stable, relatively so anyway. So I'm okay with staying in that for now. Still got my Ion. I managed to dollar cost average pretty low, which was nice. And I'm going to stay in it because I think it's going to get up. It'll get up above 4 probably in the next few days as Bitcoin recovers. And actually, yeah, at 4 I was already in profit. So if it gets up there now, I'm going to be even in more. So basically, boring day for me, just holding. Let's see. So I'm also up in Pareto from my low ball order, but I do not like the pattern I'm seeing. And my low ball order must have just barely hit. That could go up significantly in a day or two. I'll probably just hold it. Yeah. Doing pretty good today. And yeah, XRB is just not moving. In fact, it's gonna go down a little bit here. Oh, you know what it is? My chart's not moving. Price is moving. Yeah, it's at 19.68, so it's going up. Seems to be hitting a little bit of a sell wall here. So, pretty significant.